This game comes down to a 2-point conversion. Here's Tyler Bell, now the senior captain bound for UMass, under center. Little motion. They go to Teray. Teray turns it inside. Teray is in for the 2-pointer, and the Marauders have the lead. Geis. St. Peter's crowd chanting defense. Geis now, look out here. Geis hit from behind. Ball came loose. The Marauders have the football. St. Peter's is going to win the game. Enter the Marauders into the mix as we take you high above Mustang Country, Clifton High School. This week in the Super Football Conference, Jimmy Cavallo along with Darren Cooper. Mike Quick is away on assignment. Stop it. He's celebrating his wedding anniversary with the oh-so-lovely Jackie Quick. Congratulations.
We will miss him. We will try to do our best. Do him proud tonight.
Yes. It's big shoes to fill. To fill. But Darren, it was an interesting week. It was like, it's not really moving weekend. It's not judgment weekend. I mean, it's September. I mean,
it was appetizer weekend.
Right. You're right. Because I mean, really, like I said, people overreact to wins, overreact to losses.
Okay.
I had to remind people continuously. It is September. Okay, September. Okay, the money will not change hands until late November and December. But it was still, for a guy like you who loves storylines and narratives, it was a good one.
So now the storyline is Bosco's proven they can beat Bergen Catholic.
Yeah.
Right? They did it. They beat them 14-9. They did it beating Bergen almost at their own game. Milked the clock almost the last 7 minutes. Can they do it a second time?
Hey, they finished. I mean, they finished. Right, last year in the semifinals, St. Joe's up 14-0. In the third quarter, they didn't finish. I mean, Bergen proved it. They won the final 18 minutes of the game. In the state championship, that's a 2-point game into the fourth quarter, and Bergen goes on a 16-0 run. Bosco didn't finish. So that was that was the theme of the weekend.
And then Saturday we had another game.
Yeah.
We just saw the 2-point play. Interesting how they changed that play. I asked Richie Hansen that after the game. Because remember, they came out, lined up, called timeout, came out in a totally different formation. And I think Richie was so good, he said to me after the game, we just want to kind of get a look. We want to get a look.
Yeah.
And then I always think in those moments, you don't think about players, you think of plays. He thought of, I got to get the ball to Ray. I got to get the ball.
And listen, I think that was the first time Tyler Bell went under center, so they kind of set him up. So we'll chronicle, of course, Bosco Bergen on this show. We'll chronicle St. Peter's Prep St. Joe's. We'll dive into the public sector and look at Wayne Hills, Wayne Valley. Rich Hansen III will join us shortly on this show. Wayne Hills, Wayne Valley, the Battle of Wayne. Look at these two teams, 9-1 combined. Wayne Demikoff, the Wayne Hills head coach, will join us. A little later, we'll go Old Tappan at Northern Highlands, mega matchup. And Dave Court, Northern Highlands head coach, will join us. But really, we'll start with, Bosco Bergen. And, Darren, you're doing this a long time. And
I parked in Mawa, Jimmy. I want to tell the parking story.
Yeah, I mean.
So I'm like, I show up. I'm there. I'm going to do my Mike Quick. I can't do toll. I have to do my Mike Quick.
Who am I?
I show up and, I should have parking.
You didn't make the Marson hot list?
Of course I made the Marson hot list. But I pull in and I look at the guy and he's like, oh, you're parked up top. And I'm like, are you sure? Because usually we're in the side lot.
Yeah.
He looks at the list, oh, yeah, you are in the side lot. Oh, all right. Go over to the side lot. He looks at me, oh, we're full, man. I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, go down to the next driveway. Go over to the third driveway, look at the guy. He's like, you're not on my list. I'm like, well, I know I'm not on your list. I was never on your list.
Oh, my
I went past Kinchley's. Good pizza at Kinchley's.
Yeah.
I went past Kinchley's, parked somewhere in Mawa, walked a half mile to the game.
Kinchley's, you always start with the sausage and marinara appetizer. But this is a game. I mean, the images before this game are like a movie. I mean, you're going to have 6,000 people there. You're going to have both student sections. The Iron Maniacs, the Crusadiacs. I mean, just when you look at some of the pictures. I mean, does anything scream Don Bosco than when the B&M Market of Park Ridge is catering the tailgate? The great Johnny G, the great one from Quinnipiac. I mean, did you see some of the items at this tailgate that were in the Bosco Park? There's Johnny right there. How about this one, though? Look at what they're serving. You think it's burgers and dogs? I don't think so. Okay, that's the tips or the filet or whatever he's got there with the horseradish sauce. I mean, nobody does it like Don Bosco. And it was a party at 5:30 in Ramsey.
When I went back, actually, when I got back I walked past the parking spot, and I asked the parking attendant, what time did the lot fill up? You know what time he said? 4:30. I'm like, oh, good Lord. So there were people there for a long time having a good... It is the closest thing North Jersey has to a college football atmosphere in a tailgate.
It's true. And it's hard. Listen, it's really hard to put that many people in a high school facility in North Jersey or anywhere for that matter. I mean, it's robust. It spirals out of control at points.
It's all our fault.
It's all our fault. The sidelines are packed. It's like I feel for as an AD, I feel for them because it's really hard. But in the end, they did a good job. They got everybody out of there safe and sound. And I mentioned the two fan bases to the victor go the spoils. I mean, these two groups of students. I think every kid from Bosco and Bergen go to this game. But I got to tip my cap. We're going to give the fans of the week to the Iron Maniacs. I mean, they came in great numbers. They chanted just as the Bergen guys did. But hey, the Apple Green fans of the week, the Iron Maniacs, and yeah, it was. It was festive, and as you said, it's the closest thing. But in the end, there was a football game to be played, and a football game it was. We're going to take you to some of the highlights of this game. It's Bosco Bergen, man. First quarter, Bosco defense, Talaferi, the quick hitter, but JD, look at Jack DeMena all over it. Good tone setter. Here's Bosco on offense. Shane, a little comeback route to the dynamic junior Isaiah Alvarez. Makes a little something out of nothing. Same drive, 4th and 7. They did well on 4th down in this game to Bosco. Shane working to the other Alvarez's, Jeremiah. Same drive, second quarter, the super sophomore, Kasai Thomas.
He was impressive. I remember Danny telling me about him in the preseason.
Yeah. Here comes Kasai again, down the sidelines, looking for that sideline. And Bosco has a 1st and goal right here.
Great play call. Maybe the biggest play on offense for Bosco the whole night.
From here, DD. Dante DeLuca.
The state champion wrestler, boy, he knows how to get it done. Bosco was dominating at this point in the game.
14-0, but Bergen responds Talaferi to Jamel Hammery. It's 14-6 because after a penalty, Vito decides to go for
Big
2.
Decision there, Jimmy.
Bosco stood up at the point of attack. Hey, still 14-6.
That ended up being a huge play because of what ended up happening.
Behind the chains was Bergen all night because of the penalties. It's 3rd and 16. Najee Calhoun sets up Jake Soltis, 32-yarder. It's 14-9. Amazing, Darren. This would be the only points of the second half.
You mentioned it earlier, and I was like, you're right. We only had that 1 point.
Talaferi, though, in the Renzo ball is tipped around. Maury McNeil. Jack Hinspeeder gets the pick. And then Bosco O-line calls game in here, Darren. 6-minute drive.
Didn't think they could do it. I mean, really was like, I understood why Vito didn't kick the field goal. He's going to get the ball back.
Dante DeLuca, tough guy, Don Bosco football. He could have played for Toll. He could have played in any era. And round 1 of possibly 2 goes to Don Bosco Prep. Wow, amazing night. Low scoring, tough. Bergen will point to the penalties. They'll point to opportunities. But ding dong, the witch is dead. Bergen Catholic had beaten a New Jersey football team 31 straight times. It ended there.
You know what? I hear the penalties excuse sometimes. You know why other teams get penalties? Because the guys going against them are good.
Yeah.
He's faster, so I got to hold him. Oh, I got to pass interference. I got to hold him. Yeah. I looked back, though, Jimmy. I went back. Remember, Bergen came out in 2022 with the black jerseys.
Yeah.
And Bosco had Basantas going, and they beat the heck out of him, 31-7. I even sort of wrote the same story. I wrote about the offensive line back in 2022.
Yeah.
And then we were sure that when they met again at MetLife for the state final, Bosco would just do it all over again. That's not what happened at all.
Really? 45-0?
Yeah, that's not what happened at all.
The other way.
So I remember saying to you last week, I wanted to see if Bosco could walk off that field thinking they could beat Bergen Catholic. We've seen Vito do this, and I asked Vito this after the game too. You've lost games, and you've had your team then respond and raise its level. So can they do that again this year? And he was like, I think we do have the guys in the locker room who can do it. So can they do it? Can they? Yeah.
Of course, because the things change. I mean, it's, it's weeks and weeks down the road.
Somebody's going to get hurt. Yeah, you hate to say it, but things happen.
Again, You talk about a second half like that, and everything when you talk, everything is competition based, is resistant based. Why didn't Bergen, why didn't Porter have his usual big play touchdown? Right. It's about resistance. It's about competition. In this round, do I think that the next game that Bergen Catholic plays will Little Porter catch a touchdown pass? Probably. Well, you know what I mean?
Wouldn't shock us.
Like this is why we play the games. The Bosco O-line was terrific. They went hat on hat. Dante DeLuca, did his thing. And listen, that was a prototypical way to end the game, getting a couple first downs, 6 minutes. Don't give Bergen Catholic the football. I mean, if you're a New York Giant fan, you've seen it all year long, where they finally did it against the Chargers, where you give the team the ball back and you can't get off the field as a defense. The Bosco, the Bergen defense could not get off the field in the end.
I had two thoughts and two storylines coming into the game. I had whispered I thought Bosco's defense actually might be better than Bergen Catholic's defense, and they held them to 9 points. But how about the storyline we had about the quarterbacks coming in? We all couldn't wait to see which quarterback maybe blinked. The answer was neither one really blinked at all. Yeah. Nobody threw the ball away. Shane just demonstrated such poise again, Jimmy. Just so much field awareness. He didn't put the ball at risk. They didn't ask him to do a whole lot, especially when they went up 14-0. Hey. They didn't. But he never forced it. He never looked uncomfortable. But neither did Trey.
They're both just off to great trajectory starts to their careers as sophomores. You're going to see so much about Talaferri. You're going to hear so much about
slinging.
Shane.
Holy smoke!
That's a God-given arm. And listen, as we go to break here, it was a really important win, I think, for Dan Sabella in his 7th year at Bosco. It's not an easy place to coach when you follow the legacy of Greg Toll. Dan Sabella makes no excuses. I mean, he's won a state championship of that division of Paramus Catholic in 2016. He was a winner as a player. He's a winner as a coach. He's lost a couple in a row. He's the last team to beat him. But as we take you to break, we take you inside kind of the huddle and the sidelines on a wonderful night for not only Don Bosco, but for the Sabellas.
Hey, let's go! Let's go! Ball's the program. Ball's the program. Let's go. Ball is the program. First down. Good. Touchdown! 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 We got to go right-handed. We got to go back to that dog, that Dolphins dog. So you're in, right? Try to keep this down. You pulled it in a little bit. You cut the edge a little bit, all right? One of your best calls, Jello. Just keep wearing them down. Just keep wearing them down. They look tired. Hey, we finally beat them. We finally beat them. I told you we could beat them, right? Enjoy it. It feels good, right? How's it feel? It feels good.
Prosperity is achieved one step at a time, with each success building on the last, transforming your money into something extraordinary. Whatever your goals, the team at Kearney Bank can help them take shape with products and services that help you master your money. Your first car, college tuition, a new home, even retirement. Let's make your dreams a reality together at Kearney Bank. See how today at kearneybank.com.
Sport performance is a team effort. As former athletes and now psychotherapists, we want to help athletes train their minds with the same commitment that they train their bodies.
Through team workshops or one-on-one sessions, we will help athletes and teams develop skills like confidence, focus, and visualization.
We will help them learn to bounce back from mistakes,
manage nerves, and think clearly under pressure.
At the Lucan Center Sports Performance Program, we help support athletes and their support systems work at their best.
Book an appointment today to see how you can train your mind and elevate your game.
When the game is on the line, you need a team that knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
Yeah, back on This Week in the Super Football Conference, Jimmy and Darren. And so you and I were like the same schedule this weekend.
Right, there was a big game Saturday, too, we enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, we went from Ramsey on Friday night. Then on Saturday, we headed into, spectacular Cave and Point. Right?
You want to hear my parking story for Cave and Point, too? You want to hear my parking story? I parked down in Weehawken. I ended up by the docks.
That guy at the gate, that every time I pull in there, I go, hey, I'm doing the game, friends with all the Hanson, coach, senior, junior, the third. He goes like this every time. You ain't on the list. You ain't on the list, bro.
I was not on the list. I parked down by the water.
I don't know what you got to do to get on the St. Peter's Prep parking list. But listen, we go into this game knowing that we think St. Joe's is pretty good, but of course had the injuries to Best and Bailey. So okay, no problem. They have a very deep team, but St. Peter's Prep. Last couple years, 5-15 combined, a little bit of a resurgence last year, get to the 4 wins, equal their win total of a year ago after 4 games this year. And I thought, listen, not a monumental win on the road at Del Barton, but a character win. Listen, going to Del Barton, I don't care what Del Barton team you're talking about under Brian Bowers in the last 10 to 12 years. Going to Del Barton on a Saturday afternoon when they're coming off a loss is not easy. It was a good win for St. Peter's last week.
I think what's happened at Peters this year is remarkable because it is so hard. My dear friend, Paramus Catholic, is trying to right the ship.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to do.
Finish. That's the theme.
It's so hard to do in this league, in this division, in this league, because the competition is so good. So for what Rich's been able to do, go through the growing pains in the last 2 years, find some pieces to fit in, and then buy in. You bring me, but they got to buy in.
I know.
They got to buy in.
But you need the guys, you need the dudes. I mean, listen, now that you led me into Paramus Catholic trailed St. Peter's Prep game number 1, 28-26, had the ball inside the 5 with about 6 minutes left, didn't finish. Paramus Catholic this past weekend led DePaul 14-6 in the second half, didn't finish. But listen, that takes to the St. Peter's Prep. This would be the game, okay, that would make everybody believers of the Marauders of St. Peter's Prep and really take people a little back in time when we all knew it ran through not only Bosco, Bergen, Droz, and Paramus Catholic, but also St. Peter's Prep.
You had to go through Hudson County, too. It was like Big Rich had the guys over here like, don't forget about us.
No, beautiful.
We're waiting over here for you. Come on.
Fun, sunny day at Cave and Point. Here we go. Joe's on the road at St. Peter's Prep. First quarter, Captain Barksdale. Tyler Barksdale. Big hole left side. 7-0. St. Joe's responds very quickly. Tyshawn Bryant off to a big day. 7-0. Still first quarter. It's the UMass-bound senior Tyler Bell. Look at the fake. Gets the ball over the end line. 14-7 Marauders. Teams will learn that St. Joe's has an explosive junior in Tyshawn Bryant. Darren, this is ridiculous.
It was like a track meet at this point, right? And it was an amazing return. I could not get over the athleticism.
Oh, my. Look at the cuts, the change of direction. 74 yards, tied at 14. What a first half for Tyler Bell. Watch this one to Chris Horn. Steps up in the pocket, looking one way, throwing the other. 21-14. But the KB show continued. Tyshawn Bryant, 21-all. Third quarter, the Bryant breakout continues. St. Joe's has its first lead. St. Peter's would get it back with 1:15 left. Here we go. The game. Look at this. You know when you have a receiver like Hunter Washington, you go for it. Then the 2-point conversion. Abdul Turay. Oh, my goodness. He arrived in June. His legend starts to grow in September. They go for 2. They get it. St. Joe's would fumble the ball. And listen, there was great theater on Friday night. There was just great football theater on Saturday afternoon.
We're so lucky, Jimmy.
Listen, because it was like a tale of 2 halves. It was like a shootout in the first half. Yeah. Then both the defenses kind of settled in.
And Joe's had momentum there for a good chunk of the second half. And Joe's had the ball. 4 minutes left. 3rd and 4 at the Peters 42. They get 1 first down. It's not over, but they're bringing in the drones. They're bringing the drones. By the way, that's my new thing. Instead of the hay in the barn, they're recalling the drones. That means the game's over. Recalling the drones.
Hey, their defense got off the field at St. Peter's Prep. And again, when you have playmakers like they do, you want them to get off the field. And I thought it was a really important win Listen, I've known Rich Hansen Sr. for 25, 30 years. I've known Rich Hansen III, his son, for a long time, since he was a player there. It's not an easy task taking over for his dad. He was a winning coach as an assistant with his dad all those years. I mean, all those Brandon Wimbush teams, and he was part of the Will Hill, Andrew Booth sensation, and he's going to join us now this week in the SFL.
We have Rich Hansen III.
I think we have Rich Hansen III. Coach, you out there?
I am. What's going on, guys?
Hey, man, congratulations. I know it's been a few days in the rearview mirror, and I'm sure you enjoyed it on Saturday night and Sunday morning. You quickly turned the page. But, maybe guys like Cooper and myself, sometimes, Richie, we make too big of a deal about a single game for a program or a coach. But I did think, like, for you as a young coach and the situation you're in, I thought it was a really nice day for you, and I thought it was an important sort of little milestone for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think, they're all pretty important. And, we're just trying to take it one at a time. But to get, the first 5 here of this season, I think is huge for us.
Rich, just talk me through the last minute. And we talked about this a little bit after the game. But going for two. Why'd you go for two? Why was the thought process, we're going. It's absolutely, we're going to go.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we want to play the game aggressively. We want to have fun. We were at home. I felt like, like you guys said, they did steal a little bit of momentum there in the middle of the game. I thought we had it there at the end and just wanted to kind of ride that out. And it's a regular season game, so why not? And so we went and on that drive, got the ball to our best players, and then on the 2-point play, did the same thing and let those guys go and make plays. Yeah,
I mean, St. Peter's, Richie, has always had, these skilled guys. I mentioned, Will Hill. Wins that title in 2005 on the Andrew Booth pick, and Wimbush and Minka Fitzpatrick and Corey Cattle, and of course the Colton Huber unassisted punt blocked, Cody Simons of the world. And to me, it has a little bit of a vintage feel when you have guys like Tyler Bell, the quarterback, the UMass commit, and Hunter Watson came alive late in that game, and Tyler Barksdale got off to such a big start, and of course the new guy Abdul Toure. I mean, when you have skilled guys like that, you feel like it's St. Peter's Prep football.
Yeah, for sure. And those guys did make a lot of plays. And, I'm just so happy for our seniors and for, you mentioned Tyler Bell, the quarterback, for him to go 5-5 on that game-winning drive, I think says a lot about him and his growth. Those skill guys have done a really good job for us this year.
Rich, I want to get back to how the adversity from the last 2 years has helped y'all to get to this point right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything, you just grow from all those hardships and all that adversity. And again, our seniors have done a great job of staying together. It's developed really good leadership within our building. It's really let us develop a good culture within our building with this group. And I think that you've seen that growth from these guys. They've been through it. They know what it looks like. They know what it takes to win. And we've been really focused on just building a team that knows exactly what they need to do to win football games. And I think we've been able to execute that so far this year.
Were there times it was hard, Rich? Was it time it was hard? Were there times, I asked you this in the preseason, but were there times the last 2 years it was hard? Go to practice.
Not really, to be honest with you. I think internally we haven't really faltered from the plan. We have a great staff. We have a great group of kids. I think the noise from the outside obviously at times does get loud. But internally we've always done a really good job, and our kids have always done a really good job in believing what we're trying to do. We just haven't been able to quite get there. And this year it's nice to see it pay off and be able to get some of those wins under our belts.
What type of coach are you, Coach, compared to your father? Your father was there for 33 years. He won 273 games. You're obviously his son. You were there as an assistant coach for a long time. What do you hope that when people think of Rich Hansen III, they think of as your identity as a coach?
Hopefully they think of me as a good leader and, a passionate coach for sure, but also very analytical, very, very much data-driven in terms of how I look at things. And then, obviously it's all about the kids at the end of the day. So hopefully, I'm able to, lead kids to grow up and become, good young men. And it's really what I set out to do every day.
Yeah, I think we're going on about a lot of the movie stars and the guys that make touchdowns and plays, but I mean, I think when it comes down to it, your toughness, I think you even said, they're bigger than us. They're probably a little stronger than us, but you traded punches when it came to toughness in that game. That stop you got to give your team the ball back. I mean, St. Joe's is probably a first down or two away. They're on your side of the field and they could end the game. And I mean, even though it's a Catholic school, your father ended every pregame speech with "Welcome to Hell," and that's kind of what you want. You need to be in that street fight mentality, and on the field when you're playing defense. And this team has a little identity like that, from what I saw on Saturday.
They definitely do. And we talked about all the skill players, but it always starts and ends up front. And our offensive line's done a great job all season. They've done a great job of coming together this year with a couple new starters. And we've been able to run the ball really well. And then on the flip side, we've played really good defense. Our front seven's played really, really well, especially after kind of the first half against the Paramus Catholic in the opener. Since then, we've been really good on defense. And, if you can have that identity of a team of running the football, being able to stop the run, and then have the pieces around it to execute, I think, you have a shot to have a really good team.
How many resumes have come in to take the athletic director position? Darren, right?
I'm interested.
30. Your dad called it quits. They made the announcement at the game. That was kind of like, Johnny made the big announcement to the crowd that Rich Sr. had called it quits, and that was interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I thought the timing was a little strange. It's been announced internally for a while now, but I did hear that. I don't hear much during the games. I did hear that one over the PA there. So
great stuff, Richie, man. Congratulations. Listen, it's as we mentioned, it's only September. There's a lot of games left, a lot to prove, but. A high school football season is like a high school football game. There's 4 quarters to it. You know what I mean? So your grades after the first quarter are exceptional.
A+. Yeah, A+.
Congratulations.
I appreciate that, guys. Have a great night.
Okay, brother. We'll see you down the road. Rich Hansen III.
I want to take a moment to talk about his dad. I actually have something coming out tomorrow on NorthJersey.com. I wrote about his dad.
This is nice when you're breaking news on the show.
I'm trying. When I got here, Rich Hansen was the villain, man. He was the villain.
Yeah.
Because Bosco Bergen and Joes were sitting there like, well, we got to beat up on each other. And they got this guy over in St. Peter's playing Hudson County, and they're 10-0 every year, and they show up, and then they beat us in the playoffs. But what Rich Hansen did in 2015, when it was time to merge all the leagues together, was he looked at the big picture. And he could have very easily said to himself, oh, I like where I'm at.
Yeah.
I ain't coming into no Super Football Conference. I like beating up. And to his credit, he made the tough choice. It's time. We'll play Bosco every year. We'll play Bergen every year. And it's turned this league into the juggernaut that it is. And he's not the villain. He's a hero now in New Jersey football.
A hero.
He is.
Rich Hansen Sr. Wow, this is incredible. Listen, he's also made a habit of winning that title. I mean, he's won 5 titles. He won his last in 2019. I don't know if you remember that game.
Good team.
They beat Don Bosco 20-14, 21-14.
When Monongai and Berger were both hurt, but didn't matter.
They blocked. I mean, they scored 2 extra special teams touchdowns. Cody Simon with the 30-yard punt return. They blocked the field goal and Scoop and scored. So, I mean, that was only 2019.
You might know this story, but
they're the last team to win it before Bergen.
I've never told this story publicly, but it's been 6 years. You might know this story. Days after the game, Sabella, I'm calling Sabella, how you doing? It was like, we were going to fake the field goal.
Wow.
We were going to fake the field goal. We really thought about faking the field goal. Because we knew it was a little far.
Talk about a sleepless night.
We knew it was a little far. And that I love that story. I haven't told that story publicly before. We thought about faking it. We really did. We knew we were banged up. It was our best chance. Remember, Bosco could barely move the football in that game because all the guys were so banged up. They finally put something together at the end.
Yeah.
But, boy, Peters, fantastic game.
It's not about winning ugly. It's about winning. They've been playing football for 105 years at St. Peter's Prep. And as we go to break, what a day, Saturday afternoon. The Marauder Nation was loving it in the backdrop of the Statue of Liberty. Come on back. This week in the SFC continues after this.
Here's Bell looking for a pass. Bell now flushed out. Bell takes a shot at the end zone. Got a man wide open. Touchdown, Chris Horn. St. Peter's continues to roll against the St. Joe's defense. It's Bell to Horn for 6.
Bergen Catholic is an all-boys Catholic high school located in Oradell, New Jersey. Learn about the Bergen Catholic difference at our upcoming open house on Wednesday, October 8th at 6:30 p.m. Here are students, parents, coaches, and administrative team describe our commitment to academic excellence, top-rated college placements, and our crusade to help young men become the best version of themselves. As a school community, Bergen Catholic celebrates our faith, underscores what it means to be a gentleman, and explores ways to lead in an ever-changing world. At Bergen Catholic, we are Catholic, gentlemen, and leaders. A few spots remain for our next open house. Register today at bergencatholic.org.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is back.
When the game is on the line, you need a team who knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving. Stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
Welcome. Come on in.
Looking for mental health services for you or your loved ones? We have a signature way to pair you up with a therapist that meets your specific needs. At the Lucan Center, we are driven by science and led by compassion.
Thank you.
Experience the Lucan difference at any of our 7 locations in northern Jersey. Log on to lucancenter.com or call us at 201-409-0393. At Lucan Center, get Lucan centered today.
Yes, sir. Back we are on this week of the Super Football Conference. Mike Quick is away on assignment.
High five again.
You're over celebrating Mike being here. The crew.
You told me to do this.
That's the crew.
You told me.
The crew. They had food and everything tonight. Without Mike here, I don't know what's going on. Let's move over to a little Super Football Conference. Freedom Blue, Passaic Tech, and Ridgewood. Hey man, Passaic Tech. Started the season 0-2, but here they go with this one. Buddy Perpoctato. Brody P, the toss sweep. Look at the blocking here. 62 yards. That was after a Gabe Miles to Mike Michalski touchdown, make it 7-0. Look at this play right here. 7 all.
That wing key in Ridgewood still going.
But Gabe Miles can play, man. Ian McDuffie.
Well, he's a special player. McDuffie's fantastic.
Breaks a tackle. Look at that tenacious blocking by the wide receivers down there. 14-7. Third quarter, Passaic Tech offense buries the edge. Kadir Young. Woohoo! Look at that monster cut. The vision, 69 yards. It's 21-7 PCTI. Hey, the Bulldogs can mix it up. Experienced quarterback, Tyson Watkins, experienced back. Bulldogs win it by 14 in that one. So
if Tech can throw the ball this year, Jimmy, really well, we're gonna be talking about them in November.
A little bit of a trap game for Wayne Hills, the coach Wayne Demikoff, who will join us in a second, taking on Caldwell. Why was it a trap game, Darren? Because Wayne Hills, rolling along at 4-0. They got Caldwell, who's 1-2, but capable. And, of course, on the horizon, the Battle of Wayne Hills, Wayne Valley. But first, you got to beat Caldwell.
Big performance by Wayne Hills. There's something about Wayne Hills, I was thinking about this. Wayne Hills just sounds like a football school, right? And when Wayne Hills is good, boy, it makes everybody's kind of juices flow a little bit better. And the Battle of Wayne, boy, great history, because the whole point that they didn't play. They never used to play, and now they do. Thank you, Super Football Conference. And this will be meeting 23. It's not Bergen Bosco. I haven't played 82 times. Meeting 23.
Well, they used to be the same school. 1960, there was one school, right?
And what's also nice, the rivalry has been white hot, and it kind of tampered down. They had the Rocco's death in Wayne Valley in 2022.
Yeah.
Everybody will wear orange. A lot of people wear orange on Friday night. It just adds some. It's perfect. It's just perfect. Everything about the rivalry is perfect.
Super Football Conference White Division. Here we go. Wayne Hills and Caldwell. Take a look at the images. It's the Wolf, James Wolf, to Cherno St. Paul. 12-yard pass. 7-0. Wayne Hills. Ethan Zakarski. 6-yard TD run. Good player. He's a sophomore. Is easy. And they make it look easy on the screen. It's Ethan Zakarski again. 21-0. Don't think it's all offense. You're going to love this highlight, Darren. Because when you're 5'9", 250, you're not expected to get pick sixes. But Vinny Romero had other stories.
Big man touchdown.
Oh, Vinny! And David Van Hook Look at that celebration. How fired up are they that Vinny scored a touchdown? I'll tell you, one constant all year has been David Van Hook. The guy started out making all kinds of plays in Colorado. It was like 5,000 feet above sea level. The guy can breathe. He can play. By hook or by crook, this dude is nasty. 35-0 Wayne Hills. They took care of business. Taking care of business was going into the Wayne Valley game. Wayne Valley's 4-1. Now they're going into the Wayne Valley game at a perfect 5-0. And their 13-year skipper, Wayne Demikoff, joins us now from the city of Wayne. And Wayne, it's Jimmy and Darren. Congratulations on the win. You're in your 13th year. You know what this game means to go in 5-0. It's got to feel pretty good for the old ball coach, who, by the way, graduated from this very school as we're sitting, Clifton High School, in 1991. Way to go, Mustang, but way to go, Wayne, and going in at 5-0.
Yeah, thanks. That was a long time ago. And, look, the season started out good so far, so we're hoping to keep it going for sure.
Wayne, I'm going to jump right in and say new leadership at Wayne Valley now with Benakista. So do they look different on film? Do they look significantly different on what they're trying to do on offense and defense?
I mean, yeah, sure, a little bit. I mean, everybody brings their own stuff when you take over a job. But, listen, Benny said that success at West Essex is good coach. I mean, he's getting it done there too. So it's going to be a great game for sure. Yeah,
they got Eli Estevez and company. Wayne, it's been a little while since this game where both Hills and Valley came in, playing at a high level like this, simultaneous. I mean, 9-1 combined, both, piling up some wins. So, this game now, all of a sudden, of course it has meaning because it's Wayne. There'll be 5,000 people there. The town will come to a screeching halt. They'll be flipping over the signs, closed for the big game at every little market you have there in Wayne. But really, you start thinking about the ultimate ramifications are this game in the first week in October is a home playoff game. I mean, that's the issue at hand here, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, these games are significant. It's a hometown rivalry game, but at the end of the day, we're all trying to get in the playoffs, all trying to get a good seed. So I think that's what makes it special, being that both teams are playing well. There's a lot of points on the table there. So, it's a big game for sure. I mean, for us, it's just, this stretch of games for us are really important. We were happy to win last week, and, we're excited about Friday night.
Wayne, did you feel good about this team coming into the year? Did you see some pieces coming like, maybe we got some skill at quarterback. Maybe we got some skill on the outside. Defense can. What were you thinking coming into the year?
We felt pretty good. I mean, if you look at our roster and the kids that are playing, we have a nice mix. We got seniors that are major contributors for us, and we got a lot of young kids. I mean, we're that strange young yet experienced team. Sure. We got a lot of juniors that have played as sophomores. We have sophomores playing for us, and certainly our seniors are killing it for us right now. So anytime you have a good mix like that, you got a shot. So, yeah, we kind of thought coming into this year that we were going to be an interesting team to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think Wayne is just a better place to be when the Patriots are rolling along this way. And you've been around the program basically your whole football life. You're a disciple of Chris Olsen. And, if you go back in time, I mean, football was always the constant from, A.J. Spicer to Dowling to the Olsens. You were part of a championship coaching staff. You were you were a championship coach as a head coach in your early days. And to me, the common denominator was always players. I mean, I just mentioned some of those players, and when you look at what some of these guys are doing, I see Van Hook, and you see the sophomore Zakarski, and Wolf in his first year as the starter, and I think you had 6 sacks in that game. So I mean, it's like you have some players there and there's no secret to being 5-0.
Yeah, it makes it easier when you got kids, the type of kids that we have. But I think, more than them just being talented, I think they're a good group of kids. I mean, the character that we have, the chemistry that we have. Look, I mean, you just mentioned it. It's not just one kid doing it for us. We got kids that are contributing all over the place, and nobody's upset about it. It's not, hey, I got to do this, I got to do that. Everybody's pulling for each other, and it's a great culture. So that's why we've been successful for sure.
So, the last time they were 5-0, Jimmy?
I think you're 2019.
When they won the state title, 2016.
2016.
I want to. That
was a soap opera year. That was right. I mean, if I recall, that was a lot of fun.
I'm curious to know.
Judges and lawyers involved.
When I talked to Chris before the season, I was trying to. He, of course, was familiar with the Valley Hills rivalry because of his kids and stuff, and he made the point to me how we got to be careful though that this game doesn't overwhelm our season. I don't want to bring up that, but last year you beat Valley, and then it kind of petered out. So how do you put the game in perspective for your kids?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that. I mean, that's been something we've talked about in the offseason.
Really?
Look, every game's important. It doesn't matter if it's Wayne Valley, Old Tapan, Nutley. Every single game's important. So, whatever happens Friday night, we have to keep it in perspective. And we've had that attitude of, so far this year, hey, listen, you're happy when you win, but Saturday morning it's on to next week, and let's start getting ready. And the kids have kind of bought into that so far.
Is Olsen coming? Is he coming down up from Charlotte? Is he coming up?
He's been trying. I talked to him recently. He told me he's going to come up for a game. He doesn't know which one yet. But you never know. You never know who you'll see on the side.
Wait, one of the great game notes I ever had was I'm doing a Wayne Hills game when Olsen's the coach, and Greg Olsen had a bye week. He was playing with the Bears at that time, so he was there, and he would join the be on the sidelines and all that. But it's about 3 hours before the game. I get to Wayne Hills High School, and I'm walking around with Chris, and he's like, "Gregory's here. Did you see Gregory?" So we're kind of looking for Greg. We can't find him, and then he opens the door, and Greg is sitting with the offense, and he's got on the chalkboard, he's got the grease board, and he's got the quarterback and the receivers, and Chris also goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm just making one adjustment on this Z route," and he goes, "Are you out of your mind? We're playing in 2 hours. These are kids. They know nothing. You cannot change. I work on this for weeks and weeks. You can't change anything on the day of the game." He's like, "All right, whatever." But I mean, those
are good days for sure.
Those are good days. But I mentioned that because it was so important. And like I said, it was so important for Chris coaching his boys. You know what I mean? And you had KO and you had Greg, and this year you, Wayne, are coaching your son Troy, and I know you never would have brought up your son Troy unless I
would not have.
So I'm bringing it up, but as a dad, you're doing this a long time, man, and to leave the house every day and come back after games and the car rides, and to have you and Troy in this together has got to be special for you.
My older son was here, Tyler. He kind of broke me into the whole thing. He came through a few years ago. He's at East Stroudsburg now playing. But anytime you're coaching your kids, it's special. I mean, I tell people this, that you have your good days and bad days, but they're your days. There are days, somebody told me that a long time ago. I said, hey, there's going to be days where it's going to be bad, but you're going to remember that fondly years later. And I think we've kept that in perspective, and I think that's been a special thing for us. The good times and the bad times, there are times, and it's exciting.
Is there a parking list that you can get Cooper on for this game?
I like to walk to Wayne Hill.
How many requests have you had for the parking list?
The game's away.
Hey, man, you're an OG. Come on, you're an OG, man. Come on, Wayne. I know you can make that call. I need a couple of guys on that parking list.
I'll see what I can do.
Carson's already told me it should be okay. So we should be okay.
Listen, it's amazing. We just had Richie Hansen III on, and he had a couple of years of struggle there, and to jump out to 5-0, and you feel good for him because there are guys that are good guys and do it right and have this great history, and nobody gets into this to win championships. They're there to shape and mold kids and have them make great decisions, and maybe use football as a conduit towards maybe college football and better their lives. But it's I want to congratulate you on that 5-0 start. You've had a lot of juice. We're happy for you here, and we want to wish you luck on Friday night in the Battle of Wayne.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Wayne Demikoff, beautiful. And, I think the last time they had a home playoff game was 2019. So that's the ramifications of this game. You know what I mean? It's like, because, the one thing about them, Darren, is that makes it different. We just had Bosco Bergen and Joes at St. Peter's. They're going to see each other again in some form or fashion.
These teams won't.
They will not, because one is Group 4, Wayne Valley. One is Group 3. This is the last hurrah. This is the Alamo for the Battle of Wayne. You will not see them again until next year.
I am individually, of course, we were excited last week to see Bosco Bergen. We were excited to see. I can't wait to see how good they are. Yeah. You know what I mean? I know Ferrallo's good for Wayne Valley. I can't wait to see Eli. I've been reading about this Van Hook guy. You've been talking about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, and I can't wait to see, does Wayne Hill still play this really high quality, I can't think of the right word, but almost like a professional offense. It's almost like they have a professional guy's playbook sometimes.
And this is like, we talked, last week we spoke about the dimensions of rivalry, proximity, after the same trophy. Listen, we're going to talk about Old Tappan and Northern Highlands. That's a rivalry based on competition now, okay? Northern Highlands, Ramapo. Now, this is a whole nother dimension, okay? Not only do these kids grow up together in the same town, they literally have the town split in half. You go to this high school, you go to the other one. So this has everything you want in a rivalry because everybody knows everybody.
Everybody knows it. That was one of the questions, if we had more time with Wayne, I would have asked him, do you ever look across the field at Wayne Valley and be like, I know his mom, I know that dad, I know that kid, I know that kid? Because the answer is yes.
Yeah.
I mean, on the other side of the field, Benaquisa is doing the exact same thing, So it adds juice. It just adds juice.
Yeah. I mean, we've Mike Quick has said on the show for a couple of weeks, hey, if you have a TV production class that's televising your games, we'd love to get some clips. We'd love to promote it. We did have a cooperative effort with DBP Television on Friday night in Ramsey, a cast of thousands. They had 18 kids, with me. And, of course, Wayne Hill's well represented. Mr. Jim Hoogstraat, under his direction, they do such a great job. And they're like on a consecutive streak now of being promoted on the show. Hey, if you have your class, your school is doing it, recording it with young announcers, send it to us. We'll play it. And as we go to break here on This Week in the Super Football Conference, take a little listen to the Wayne Hills TV production boys calling the games.
Motion. Wolf dropping back. A little bit of time. He's going to roll out. He fires to the end zone. He's got Jono St. Paul. His first of the season. Touchdown, Patriots.
It's the biggest deal in breakfast, Dunkin's $6 meal deal. You get a medium iced or hot coffee, bacon, egg, and cheese, and 6 toasty hash browns. Dunkin's $6 meal deal is back.
As a coach or a group leader, it's tough to focus on your team when you're focused on everything but your team. Which is why Snap Mobile One brings all the management tools you need together in one app. Maximize your fundraising potential using SnapRaise, the #1 online fundraising platform with guaranteed results. Chat directly with staff, students, or parents for quick updates and seamless communication. Easily manage team rosters, update schedules, and keep your community informed. You can even set up a custom fan store for year-round revenue and community engagement. Snap Mobile One streamlines athletics and activities management so you can focus on what you do best. Take back your time. One app, every need.
When the game is on the line, you need a team to know strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving. Stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.
Prosperity is achieved one step at a time, with each success building on the last, transforming your money into something extraordinary. Whatever your goals, the team at Kearney Bank can help them take shape with products and services that help you master your money. Your first car, college tuition, a new home, even retirement. Let's make your dreams a reality together at Kearney Bank. See how today at kearneybank.com.
Yes, sir. Rolling along here on This Week of the Super Football Conference, Jimmy and Darren. We continue into the public sector. We said it's a little bit of a trap game for Wayne Hills. Northern Highlands, kind of the same thing. On the horizon, we sat around for years here going, who's going to be the next New Jersey team to beat Bergen Catholic, right? 31 in a row.
Right.
I mentioned that, back when Bosco went from 06 to 2011, 2 national titles, who was ever going to beat them in New Jersey? Well, kind of sneaking into that conversation is Old Tappan, right? Like who's the next North Jersey team? North Jersey. Yeah, so I got you. To beat Old Tappan. And Northern Highlands is going to get their shot next week, but first they had to go to the roof and play Union City.
And a tough spot to play, for crying out loud. And a trap game, and a total trap game. Because you couldn't have faulted Northern Highlands for looking ahead at playing Old Tappan this week. But the Highlanders, I'm always so impressed. I tell this story about Northern Highlands every time I watch them play. They do not win the airport. They don't win the airport. They do not always win the eye test. All they have is 6-foot guys, 5'10", 185-pound guys who play so hard and so smart and find a way to win.
Well, they do have one guy this year, number 15, as you'll see in the highlights, who passes that eye test. Highlands out of the Super Football Conference Liberty red, Union City out of the Super Football Conference Freedom white. A couple highlights from this game. Of course, the quarterback, Jack O'Callahan to Drew Vandersnow. Watch this throw. On the run, little flip. House call, it was 6-0. Only thing they didn't do well in this game was extra points. Want to see a great-looking athlete, Darren? How about number 15, Chase Calarco? Next stop, Cornell for the Big Red. Next stop, end zone. Wow, good player, 12-0. The only thing stopping O'Callahan to Vandersnow was this pole that in the stadium. Oh, yes, Vandersnow, here comes the pole. Look out.
There's the pole.
Really good effort by Northern Highlands. O'Callahan and Vandersnow had it going. Little flip there. Way to go down and get it. Secure the football. Northern Highland wins it. Solid victory going away.
Vandersnow a touchdown every game for Highlands this year.
The thing I like about it, we're going to bring in their head coach now, Dave Cord. Dave Cord enters his 4th year. Dave Cord, of course, the pedigree, playing football at Westwood High School, 07, a graduate, 06 title team. Really a disciple of Chuck Johnson and Ridgewood from a coaching standpoint. Coach Cord, welcome to This Week in the SFC.
Hey, Dave.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Dave, your year had an interesting theme. Yeah, I mean, it's probably long since you thought about this, but Darren, didn't they play the first game of the high school football season?
Did. Yes,
in New Jersey against Holy Spirit at the Battle of the Beach? That game was like in July, I feel like.
Yeah. We've it's interesting that week 0 we have played in the first slot this year, Thursday at 10 a.m., and my first year back in 2022, we played at 7 p.m. on Sunday night. The last spot you could possibly have. I prefer the first spot. That's for sure.
Every coach wants that first spot.
Yeah, that was a great experience though for your guys. I mean, walking the boardwalk, Ocean City, New Jersey, the team meals, the kettle corn. Like I said, the 8-minute drive. Chase getting the game MVP. They
overpowered Holy Spirit.
They absolutely. And that's a non-public. I get it. And just like a wonderful way. Listen, we know how important game 1 is for you guys, even though week 0, because of what you guys put into this. July, August, the practices, the meetings, everybody, and then to play well on that first one and get it down there in that setting was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. First of all, that setting is amazing. Obviously, you see the pictures, but it's literally on the boardwalk. So we got down there the morning before, let the kids kind of roam the boardwalk, get lunch on their own. We had a team practice at 3 o'clock. And then a team dinner at night, and then we woke up and played the next day. So it was a really, really cool experience for our guys. But so we get down there. We rented out like a motel with a pool. Some of the guys jumped in the pool, went swimming. I walked up to the boardwalk. You actually walk on the boardwalk right onto the field. It's really, really cool venue. The Battle of the Beach does a great job. And then obviously to come home with a win was really, really important to us.
And that Ferris wheel sitting right there too, Dave. That Ferris wheel right above the end zone. That Ferris wheel just lingering.
Yeah, it's right behind you. It's an awesome place. We had a really positive time. Listen, a lot of planning. Our boosters did a lot of planning to set everything up, and the team dinner was really great the night before. So, and then obviously everything's better with the win. So it was a great weekend.
Dave, I want to ask you about Vandersnow because he's got a great backstory, right? Getting hurt sophomore year, getting hurt junior year. What kind of character has he shown to come back and play at this level this year?
I mean, he's an amazing kid. Listen, I've never dealt, and I hope I never have to dealt with 2 ACL tears in high school ever again. Week 2, his sophomore year, he was a starter for us, which says a lot as a sophomore starter. Tears his left ACL. Week 2, junior year, same team, Wayne Valley. Tears his right ACL. And I remember it had to be like somewhere mid to late October last year. It was post-surgery. He had surgery. He's hanging in the trainer's room. It was the night before a game. And he's talking back and forth with our trainer about what he wants to do differently in rehab this time, what he thinks he can do better, and how he's going to fix things. And I remember looking at him, I'm like, you don't have to do this. Like, I've never dealt. And he's like, no, coach, I want to. And he's been a leader. I mean, he was probably 10 days post-surgery, and he's in the weight room lifting what he can, upper body. He has worked his ass off. He's a really tough kid. And listen, I don't know how this is all going to work out. But if I was a college team, I would want him on my team. And I know he couldn't camp, and I know he doesn't have the junior tape. But he's 6'3", 180. He's the fastest kid on our team. He's an amazing athlete and an amazing kid.
Yeah, I mean, let's move ahead. You know, I'll tip my hand a little bit. We're gonna a little later in the show before we close. We'll do our top 11. You're gonna come in at number 2. The reason why I say that is because you're taking on number 1 this week in Old Tappan. And I mentioned, Darren, that what Coach Dunn is doing over there. He's sort of building his reputation as just taking people down in North Jersey. And when you look at the quarterback Maselli and Shane Smart and everything they're doing, how tough they are to scheme against, and how well they execute in the back end of these games. I'm sure you've watched the Ramapo game over and over again. It's a unique deal. It's a great challenge. I'm sure you guys are so fired up. I mean, Northern Highlands, Highlander football, whether it's Greg Russo or Dave Cord coaching this team, you back down to nobody, and I'm sure you love your chances in a great, competitive, electric setting like you're going to be in.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think one of the positives that the Super Football Conference is able to do is every Friday night is fun. And I love it that way. I mean, we played last year, we played 6 sectional champions, wow. A state runner-up and a state champion in 11 games. That's awesome. And this certainly is another challenge. I have a ton of respect. How can you not? For the way Brian Dunn's and Old Tappan's teams play. They are tough, they are hard, they are disciplined. And listen, we love a challenge, and obviously we haven't. I haven't shied away from this with our guys because the buck always stops with me. We're 0 for 3 with our last 3, and I haven't done a good enough job to prepare our guys the last couple of years, and we're hoping to right that ship. And they have a chance, and you said it. It's going to be a fun environment. It's 2 great teams. Going head to head, and it should be a fun night Friday night.
It strikes me, I give Dave credit, not only they've scored 7 points in 3 years against Old Tappan, and Northern Highlands is good.
Yeah.
Northern Highlands is good. Wow. But Dave, I'm always curious to know.
I think Chase is going to have something to say about that.
I'm always curious to know when you go up, we see this in rematches sometimes, when you look back at what you've tried against Old Tappan, and maybe it hasn't worked, how much do you change, or how much do you just say it's just a matter of execution? We're not going to change what we do. It's just a matter of executing better.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's the art of coaching, right? Yeah. It's threading that line. Listen, we haven't executed for whatever reason. We haven't executed to the best of our abilities. We're trying to right that ship, but we're never. Even last year with all the injuries and losing a couple games in a row, we're not throwing out what we've done for the last year. We're going to keep working and keep getting better at it and tweaking our systems to make them execute better.
How big of an impact was the fact Jack getting to play last year leading into this year?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's always a silver lining in everything, right? Jack got to make 6 starts in 6 tough football games last year, and I tell our kids a ton, right? Like, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I think that the key to success, you want to be good at anything in life, you got to do it over and over again. Experience helps. It's why we rep plays. Every coach rep plays endlessly, right? Because we know that's the key. So Jack getting starts, other younger guys, Chase DeLuise getting the extra playing time last year, that's got to help him and got to make him more confident.
Yeah, I love it too, because I mean, guys like Darren and myself, we probably do go, a little heavy on the non-publics. But when you look at your schedule now, Old Tappan, at Ridgewood, and then Ramapo. Yeah. So that's your next 3. You got Old Tappan, the defending champs. You got Ridgewood, where you cut your teeth as a coach, and the pedigree there. And then October 24th, home for Ramapo, Northern Highlands. Ramapo is pure theater. So it's a good couple weeks coming up for your boys.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I think they're looking forward to it. But really, we got our eyes on Friday night, and that's I touched on it before, but that's the best part about this conference, and the best part about playing tough games every night is we got to get better. And we talk about that each week. Each week we got to be better than we were the last Friday night. Listen, if we want to beat Old Tappan, I thought we did some good things in Union City, right? But we got to play better than we did against Union City. That's the bottom line.
Are we healthy, Dave? Are we healthy? How's the team physically?
Yeah,
that's the hidden thing when you play such a tough schedule is, you get beat down.
Yeah, and you compare anything to last year, we're healthy. We're playing football. Yeah, I do my always annual speech before week 1. Like, take a look at your body. You know, feel what it feels like, because it's not going to feel like this again for the next 3 months.
Hey,
you know, but that's part of it.
Hey, finally, Dave, before I let you go, how important is it for when you have a kid like Chase committed to play in the Ivy League at Cornell? Does that in some way, am I overthinking it when I say it sends a little message that, you know, you could stick around and play with your friends and still be a Division I football player and go to a great Ivy League school?
Of course. I mean, that's the battle I fight every offseason, right? is recruiting my kids to stay home. You know, listen, we've had a lot of success. So I'll talk that out on 2 fronts. You know, you look at your past, you know, our running back and safety from last year, you know, who unfortunately got injured during the season, you know, he's up at Dartmouth playing. You know, you have Chase committed to Cornell right now. And then, you know, you got Carter Blattner, who's a 4-star with, you know, 10 plus, you know, Power 4 offers. So listen, I think, you know, I credit my kids. We got really good kids that are recruitable kids, but we work really hard to make sure that this doesn't just end at Northern Highlands if they don't want it to. You know, certainly helps that. And then obviously Chase is just an unbelievable leader for us as one of our captains. Obviously he's going to Cornell, but he is one of the smartest football players I've ever coached. He is tough. He is demanding on the other guys. He is certainly the alpha in the room, and everybody respects him. But everybody respects him because of how hard he works and how knowledgeable he is in our schemes and what we're trying to do. So having him is like having another coach on the field.
It's going to be great. Dave, good luck, man. Congratulations on such a great start to the season. Good luck against Old Tapan, and keep it rolling, buddy.
All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Yeah, Dave Cord right there, Northern Highlands, the Highlanders head coach, young guy, 4th year.
Pound for pound, he might be the best coach in this conference.
Yeah.
That's how high I think of Dave Cord. That's how high I think of Dave Cord.
You know, great player in his days at Westwood, played in the 2006 championship team. Of course, a disciple of Chuck Johnson, learning that great, you know, toughness. Look, the Northern Highlands this year is good up front. Very important for them.
Yeah.
It's going to be a factor. Old Tapan has had some injuries up front. You know, hat on hat is where these games are sometimes won. Good up front. They always have athletes in Northern Highlands. It's an athletes' school. Okay, you have you know, you got five towns, you know, of kids going there. You know, great leadership in Joe Ochino, the principal, right down to their AD. You know, just wonderful stuff there. And it's going to be a great game. Great environment.
My favorite thing, Highlands and Old Tapan, good track programs. And if you have good track programs, that means you have kids who can run. If you have kids who can run, that means they're fast. They can play wide receiver, running back, and block.
Can we put that in quotes? If you have kids that can run, it means they're fast.
If you have kids who have been trained to run and run track.
And most of these football kids now, if they don't play baseball in the spring, they're running track, right? Or lacrosse, you know. Good stuff. We roll on here. A lot of great games. Of course, it's that time of the show in the Super Football Conference this week in the SFC. How about our Player of the Week? You know, listen, if you're going to kick a 51-yard field goal to win a football game. No way. You're in high school. Now, we know what the kicking has become in the NFL because when I grew up, anything from over 50 was like, you know, come on. I mean, Scott Norwood missed from 47, and they're like, boy, in 1990, he's really got to hit this one to get it through. Now they're sailing it through from 60, 63, 64, 65. But in high school, Darren, and for Josh DePasquale of Roxbury High to beat Morris Knowles on a 51-yard field goal is amazing.
Simply amazing. I when I saw that news, I was like, that number's got to be wrong.
But you love the storylines. He had missed an extra point, and they had missed a field goal in the game. So I don't know the confidence level, but Josh, let's take a look at your efforts, man. Josh DePasquale, Super Football Conference Player of the Week. Here it is, game tied at 13 from 51. This thing was good from 61. It sailed through the uprights. Are you kidding me? That was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Can we play that again? Vinny, play that again. Play it one more time because this thing doesn't limp through the uprights. It hammers its way through the uprights.
So is that the next frontier? We're going to see this now take off?
Man, I tell you, what a weapon it is. Listen, when you have a kicking game in high school football, it means you're playing real football. It means when you have a 4th and 4 from the 20-yard line, you don't go for it. You kick a 37-yard field goal, and you take the points.
It was Old Tapan who had the kicker the last couple of years, Otto Manelli, who then went to Nebraska. He's not there anymore. And that was the way they could play. Yeah. It could totally change your play calling and how you approach the red zone. Like, we got 3 points in the bag. So it's a huge advantage.
There's our play of the week. How about coach of the week? A lot of candidates.
Hit me.
A lot of candidates, but hey, we had him on earlier in the show. Rich Hansen III, St. Peter's Prep.
In there like a
5-0.
shot.
Of course he is. He's a fit model, runway model. He's a Hansen. Have you ever seen his dad? With the way how good he looks. I mean, does he ever come to a game without doing bicep curls before the game? The guy looks incredible. But listen, wonderful win. It added the great storyline to non-public A. That St. Peter's Prep is rolling along. Rich Hansen III is our coach of the week.
What it does is it makes, you talked about it, it's such a valid point. It is October now, but we just finished September football. The stakes only get higher, Jimmy.
Yes.
The stakes are only getting higher. We get through October and then November turn. And see what happens, what makes football so great, what makes Super Football Conference so great, New Jersey football so great.
At the end of Friday night, after all the tailgating, after all the crowds, the thousands, the hundreds of
walking past
the kids of the Pop Warner kids. How many Pop Warner kids?
Everyone.
Right.
Every Pop Warner
Every
kid
Pop
was there. There were WWE wrestlers on the sideline.
The most significant thing was that Bergen Catholic's 31-game win streak against New Jersey had come to an end. Don Bosco had done it. It's round one of maybe two. Nevertheless, for Dan Sabella, meaningful enough. He's our coach of the week.
Oh, good.
Yes. That's it. Our team of the week, I should say. Coach of the week we just had. Our team of the week, Don Bosco Prep, 14-9, winning it there.
I got to say, though, the silver jerseys with the red doesn't do it for me. I'm not a big fan of the colored jerseys right there, but that's all right. I've said that to Dan myself.
Listen, jerseys have become a big problem.
Yeah,
because the colors are white on white. There's no contrast. I've been through this before. Plowing through, let's go. How about our poll? We have this top 11 poll, but to make the top 11, you might have to start on the taxi squad.
Yeah.
So here's the taxi squad. Cedar Grove, 4 straight wins. They're home for Caldwell.
All right, I said
Caldwell's
Cedar Grove's a team going up.
Hanover Park, 5-0. Hornets Nest is dangerous. They have Pequannock next. High Point, 2-point win over Newton. Next at Vernon with the Vikings. West Essex, 2 losses. Ultapan and Wayne Hills, home for Pascack Valley. Now the top 11. PCTI, we just saw them. 3 straight wins after starting out 0-2. Number 4 will be tough. They play Ramapo. Wayne Valley, Battle of Wayne, enough said. Shabazz checking in, beat Immaculata by 21. Woo! West Orange, the Mountaineers opened by losing to Shabazz, then 4 straight. Peaburg on Friday. Mount Olive, 4-0, 5-0 will now be no gimme. Morris Knowles, get ready. West Morris, the Wolf Pack is playing pack football, 5-0 at Par Hills. Wayne Hills, 5-0 into Wayne. Woo, what a night it's going to be in Wayne. How about number 4? EO! Jags have scored 152, giving up 0. 4-0. Next is Bloomfield. And then the big 3. Ramapo 3-1, only lost to Ultapan. Fun game coming against Passaic Tech. And then Highlands and Ultapan. If number 2 wants to be number 1, Darren, it's simple. They play each other on this Friday night.
Wonderful the way it works. I got a team that's not on the list I got to vouch for. And it's a team from your past that you're going to love. They're 5-0. First time since 2010.
So you're nominating somebody for the taxi squad.
Hoboken, baby. Hoboken. Joe Borkowski, Hoboken. Think of Hoboken.
Wow. I mean, it's, listen. And Hoboken is, listen.
You got history at Hoboken, right?
I do. I called the game in 1997 when they had the 37-game win streak and Chris Sims went in there. And Greg Toll Jr. Okay. Phil Sims in the bleachers with like a Nordic ski hat on trying to be in disguise, and Ramapo beat them in overtime. I think we've come to the end of the road.
We got to finish.
I think you did a wonderful job here tonight. We pressed you into overtime. I appreciate it. DC, so where are you going to be this weekend?
Battle of Wayne, babe. Battle of Wayne. I wouldn't miss it. It is a great environment for a football game. Like I was saying before, I can't wait to see how good they are. I'm sure they're good. And whoever wins that game. One thing
that's for certain. We're all sort of in the same business. You, myself, even though I don't write a word. When you cut Darren Cooper to this cloth. You're promoting kids. You're exploiting great virtues in teams and kids. And I know that you didn't work with Todrick Hunt. You were sort of
tremendous respect
competitors.
Yeah.
We lost Todrick Hunt this past week. Suddenly, this past weekend, he was a prominent New Jersey sports journalist. He was a Rutgers guy. He was a Rutgers grad. His passion was to let Rutgers Nation know a baller was coming to their football or basketball team. He was sort of a pioneer in promoting the recruits. You know what I mean?
He did something yes, we were always on opposite sides of the media table, but he did that top 50 list, and I was like, boy, that was a really good idea. And then I was like, boy, that takes some real guts. And he did it, though, and he did a great job.
Yeah, he did. He loved to support and promote New Jersey kids with tremendous enthusiasm. He passed away Friday night of a heart attack. When the news came out, it's like it's a hole in New Jersey high school football we just won't fill. Todrick Hunt, 44 years old, survived by his wife and 4 kids. Todrick, a great ambassador for Rutgers football, for New Jersey high school football, an overall great guy. Todrick Hunt passes away at the age of 44. Todrick, I'll always think of all the great days seeing you in press boxes, talking about New Jersey kids and New Jersey football. Godspeed, and thank you to Todrick Hunt.
Prosperity is achieved one step at a time, with each success building on the last, transforming your money into something extraordinary. Whatever your goals, the team at Kearney Bank can help them take shape with products and services that help you master your money. Your first car, college tuition, a new home, even retirement. Let's make your dreams a reality together at Kearney Bank. See how today at kearneybank.com.
Sport performance is a team effort. As former athletes and now psychotherapists, we want to help athletes train their minds with the same commitment that they train their bodies.
Through team workshops or one-on-one sessions, we will help athletes and teams develop skills like confidence, focus, and visualization.
We will help them learn to bounce back from mistakes,
manage nerves, and think clearly under pressure.
At the Lucan Center Sports Performance Program, we help support athletes and their support systems work at their best.
Book an appointment today to see how you can train your mind and elevate your game.
When the game is on the line, you need a team that knows strength, recovery, and performance. At Alliance Orthopedics, we keep athletes moving, stronger, faster, and better every day. For every parent, for every athlete, Alliance Orthopedics. Better every day.